Resumes in mining. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today I just wanted to have a quick chat about how you can make a mining friendly resume. So the big tip with this is that you really need to target the person that's going to do the hiring, and in most cases that's the foreman or the project manager. Now these people are incredibly time poor, so you need to make sure that whatever you think is going to get you the job is on the front page of your resume. I like to tell people they've got 6 seconds, and as an example I'm going to go over to the sponsor's website. This is what the after resume is, and as you can see this is going to suck the foreman straight in because of the training that they've done. The person's invested in themselves and they know something about hard rock underground, so I'm going to be able to ask them the mining questions in the interview. And then the rest of it's fairly short. Most experienced miners will only put a resume in with 2 pages, maybe 3 tops, and it's always the last mine that they worked and what machine they'd used and how long they were doing the job for. Where people make mistakes is that they try and make the resumes way too complicated. One of the things that I've noticed is that there's this split resume coming into it. So if the foreman or the project manager has to go back over themselves, or if they think it's going to take them more than 5 minutes to read the resume, chances are that they're not going to. And the unfortunate thing is that they go through a lot of new starters, so they have to look at a lot of new starters' resumes. So if your resume is going to take 5 or 10 minutes to look at, then the person that's ultimately going to give you the job probably isn't going to look at that resume. It just needs to flow. If we come over to the other example that they give on the sponsor's website, the before, this is probably a typical resume that gets sent into a coal mining job in Queensland or for a construction job around the place. So it's full of R2 tickets that the hard rock employer or the foreman can't use. And then if you come down to the bottom here, you can see that they've got all their experience in one section here. What that does is it means that the foreman will be interested, this person has got a HR license and has been driving the truck, but then to find all what truck it was and all that sort of stuff, they've got to go all the way back up to the top, and then they've got to filter through all this information to try and find out what the actual job was, what they were doing. Whereas if you go over to the converted one, you come down there, and you can see that it's the HR truck driver, and as part of the duty, pre-start safety checks, all that sort of stuff. So they go, okay, that's easy, and then they can just flow through it. And this resume, it takes all of 2 minutes to read, and that's what you want. You want a resume that is only a couple of minutes to read, because if it's any longer than that, they're probably not going to do it. Now, the other thing that I would suggest, and if you haven't already done it, have a look at the video on tickets in mining, because as I've already mentioned, all these R2 tickets, they can't use them. They can use them in coal in Queensland, and they can use them in oil and gas and construction, but the hard rock, underground and open cuts, they all have to issue their tickets on site. So when you send in a resume like this, all you're saying to the foreman or the project manager is that I don't know how your mine site works. That normally sees the resume culled to one side. So again, you know, if you're going for a coal mining job in Queensland, this is probably the resume that you want. But if you're going for a hard rock mining job in Queensland over in Mount Isa, you probably, well, you definitely don't want a resume like this. You want a resume like this, that's going to drag them in and give them a reason to call you. Now, the sponsor has got 4 online courses plus a seminar. You can do the do-it-yourself package if you want to, or there's a work-ready package. There's also a payment plan that you can do. So what you do is you buy basic mine site operation, nipper and truck individually, and then once you buy the third one, they'll turn the other 2 on for free. And so if you go up to the courses, you can see you can click onto the payment plan there and it'll explain it to you. You can also do the work ready package if you want some help. They get a ticketed shift boss to prep you and make sure that you've understood the mining information. You can send your resume in and they'll redo your resume for you, and they'll make sure that you're up to speed and prep you for the interviews. So there's 3 different ways that you can go with that if you want to have a crack at getting into hard rock underground. It's all about being able to present a resume that's going to get through to the foreman, and that way you can get hired, but you've got to give the foreman a reason to want to talk to you, and that's where the training can come into it. So I hope you found that information helpful. And if you've got any more questions that you'd like answered, please send them through. And if you could like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.